Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, it is very unusual for me to agree with anything in the National, or Pravda, as we like to call it, because it is obviously the SNP's in-house rag. Indeed, I think more people watch my channel than actually buy the paper. That's how it is. But I don't care about that. What I do care is it's behind a paywall. And so if I want to get any stories from it, I have to pay for them. I know, but what do you do, eh? It's a service I have to do. But we have a story here, and it is one that, astonishingly, I completely agree with. And it's not often, as I say, that I agree with anything that this particular publication says. But this one I do. And it's all to do with what they call vulture capitalism. And it's when these big investment companies come in and buy up resources and the little jewels in the crown of state-owned stuff. Things that ought to not be bought up by these capitalists who have no concern. They're in it only for the money. They don't care about the heritage, the history, or anything like that. And they can do quite extensive and untold damage. And so it's one of these things we have to be very, very aware of. And that is what's happening. And so we're going to take a quick look at this to see why it shouldn't be happening and what kind of properties have been snapped up by these venture capitalists. Here goes. So Scotland's resources must not be sold off to the vulture capitalists. And this is something I think we really all could get behind. It's very weird that I still can't get over I'm agreeing with anything in the National. Anyway, Darren Jones, Rachel Reeves' deputy, made the incomprehensibly stupid remark that Thatcher oversaw a period of economic renewal and wealth creation. You could plaster this all over Scotland to warn those gullible enough to think that English Labour offers anything apart from stealing what remains of our wealth and impoverishing us further. And he's probably right, but people are going to vote Labour because they're fed up with the Tories, and that's fine because the Tories have made a bit of a pig's ear of things recently, and so they do get punished. That's the way of the world. But he's saying here, English Labour keeps showing us who they really are, and we should be paying attention. Larry Fink, who's the CEO of BlackRock, which is the planet's largest private equity firm that manages $10 trillion of assets, praised Sir Keir Starmer for saving English Labour from extremism under the Marxist Jeremy Corbyn. What Fink really meant is that Sir Keir saved the UK for the world's vulture capitalists to exploit. The one thing vulture capitalists don't like are extreme left-wingers because they don't like capitalism, obviously, and it makes life very difficult for these people to make more money. And I think there comes a point, I think we can all agree, there comes a point that rich is okay. Even very rich could be okay. But these guys aren't just rich, they are buying power, and it's wrong. BlackRock and Vanguard, BlackRock's largest shareholder, own huge swathes of the global economy. Many of the world's oldest and wealthiest families, the British royal family, the Italian Orsini family, and the American Bush, DuPont, Morgan, Vanderbilt, and Rockefeller families. They are the owners of Vanguard. Together, they own the majority of stocks in the largest corporations spanning big pharma, big tech, big banks, the biggest media companies, and the military-industrial complex. By 2028, BlackRock and Vanguard will be managing assets worth $20 trillion. That's a lot by any standards, isn't it? How does this relate to Scotland? Well, BlackRock owns Edinburgh Airport, Aberdeen Asset Management merged with BlackRock's Investment Trust, Scottish Widows awarded a £30 billion contract to BlackRock to manage index strategies. The Wheatley Group received $100 billion injection from BlackRock to drive Scotland's biggest house building programme. BlackRock bought a West Lothian wind farm for Muirhall Energy. These are rich pickings in Scotland Starmer's single defining mission is to increase economic growth in partnership with business. Scotland's resources are for sale to vulture capitalists like BlackRock, leaving nothing for the rightful owners, who are the Scottish people. He says, I cannot think of a more clarion call to end this disastrous union. Now, that bit I do disagree with, because he's saying that all this ownership by these private equity firms is the fault of the union. It's not. Without the union, the likes of BlackRock and Vanguard and whatever would still come in and buy everything. You just wouldn't have the ability to fight it on the same scale as a smaller, less powerful country. Money talks, and it sometimes needs politics to say no, because people want money and they will quite easily say yes. And if you are the shareholder in a company, and you get, someone's coming in and offering you 10% over market value, you go, well, there's a quick buck, bang, and sell it. And sometimes that's not the right answer, is it? Particularly if what you're selling is something of important national heritage. And so, yes, I agree in the principle that it shouldn't be laid out for the vulture capitalists. It should remain, where possible, either in small company holdings or in national holdings for some things. Certainly when you're selling off all this land for wind farms, you're selling off Scotland's land for wind farms, but they're not even your wind farms, and the profits that are created out of the Scottish people paying their electric bills for the energy generated by these wind farms is then lifted overseas. So it's not even sitting and getting reinvested back into the country. It was wrong. What Scotland should have done, and what a half-decent, intelligent government would have done, is to create a state-owned limited company, Scottish Wind Farm Limited, or whatever you want to call it, administered by the Parliament, by a minister, that leased the land from the owners of the land, that paid for and built and maintained the wind farms, and sold the energy into the Scottish grid, with the profit going back into government, rather than letting venture capital do this and take all the money out, impoverishing Scots, impoverishing Scotland. But this is the SNP. They're looking for short-term game to fill the black hole that they've created with the madness of their own policies. What do you expect? Not much coming up. Now, there's nothing wrong with capitalism per se. If someone wants to go out there and make something, create something, form a company, good. But these people aren't actually creating anything. They're buying the work of others. They're buying the life work of others, but they haven't earned that work. It's just simply money and transactional for them. They haven't put talent or skill or knowledge or experience into it. And so they have no concerns for these businesses. They have no concerns for the resources these businesses mean to local people. And of course, if the market changes, they just close it down. It means nothing to them. And that's the problem with these vulture capitalists, I think. Too big, too powerful, and nobody ever seems to say no. What do you do? Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Strange one to start the day, agreeing with the National, but hey-ho, these things have happened. Till next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll speak to you later. Bye.